Fishing trips anywhere, anytime. FishingBooker.com. Want to plan your next fishing trip without the hassle? FishingBooker.com is the best way to find and book a fishing charter anywhere in the world. Whether you're chasing trophy fish or just looking for a family day on the water, Fishing Booker makes it simple, fast, and secure. With thousands of experienced guides, verified reviews, and 24/7 customer support, Fishing Booker takes the guesswork out of planning. Visit FishingBooker.com and book your trip today. Fishing Booker. Fishing trips made easy.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
For almost 50 years, Midway USA has been America's go-to source for just about everything for shooting, hunting, and the outdoors. Go to midwayusa.com to see our latest deals and promotions and take advantage of our super fast same-day shipping. If you need a cooler, a new fishing rod, another rifle, ammo, or a reloading press, you can find it all at midwayusa.com. Thanks for your business.
Episode 290. We are 10 away from 300. Look, Steve, that was good math, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
300. Yeah, just 300 minus 10, and we're at 290. But anyways,
don't make it awkward like usual. Come on, dude. Just get to the point.
All right, I'm trying. All right, this is your boy East Coast Trev, and I'm joined with the madman himself. What's up, buddy? Sorry, I'll keep it short and sweet for you. Is that all right? Is that okay? Yeah. All right. So what do you want to tell the people?
Still awkward, but
tell them something.
Go ahead. Come on, let's go.
Where you want to go?
Run and gun here, buddy. Run and gun. Keep it moving.
No, we just got back from Maryland. That trip, dude, that was a tough grind. I will say that, man. It was. I don't know if the birds are just not ready yet or what happened. And you said that you had talked to Lane, who had from In the Presence that we had actually met up with while we were there, and it's almost the same thing is kind of going on down there.
Yeah, I mean, Lane was there, I think, 6 days, and nothing changed for him the entire time he was there. And, I mean, one big takeaway that I gathered is everybody failed to mention till after we were there how hard it was. Like, Sean stressed to us how hard Maryland turkey hunting is. Lane stressed to us how hard Maryland birds are. And it's like, nobody told us this before we got in the truck to come down. They waited till we got down there to let the cat out of the bag. But I mean, it's still fun. It's great to get on new dirt and different terrain and different kind of hunting, and you always learn stuff. But yeah, it was far from easy.
Well, I guess that I failed to explain it to you too, because I had hunted there and it wasn't that hard. It was definitely not that hard. But it was definitely hard in the aspect of when you hunt on Eastern Shore and it being so flat to being able to move on birds, but birds gobbled. Where this time the birds did not gobble. And
yeah, I mean that wasn't even a factor because we never even got in a position where we needed to like make a move. Like there was nothing to move on, right? It was just like it was just frustrating, right? Like just not responsive. Plenty of birds there, just didn't want to gobble. You'd hear a gobble and then nothing. Just made it really frustrating, but still super cool. Good time.
All right, so when we left here, we left Connecticut dirt. We headed towards the western part of the state, and we had gotten there, and it was we crashed in the truck, and then the next morning we went out. And we thought we had it with the cat. It was done. We had them cooked and everything. They were done because that morning, the first pin that you had pinned, we got there and the birds were gobbling. So we think that it's game over. It's a pre-scouting day, and I thought the same. And then
the first three pins we rolled up onto had birds.
Right. And
then not another gobble the rest of the day.
It was, and as the day like slowly progressed on, I was like, oh my God, like why aren't they, like we can't even get a gobble at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, like we can't even
Yeah.
get a gobble. So then the next morning we head out and they gobbled, but they weren't gobbling at us, and they went the other way, and it was so bad to the point of there was one point that we were probably within 60 yards of birds, hit the call, and they didn't even respond to us. And we ended up bumping the birds. So, like,
Oh, yeah. But even
whether.
the bird before that, right? Like, cutting and running, right? Like, hit the call, listen, nothing, move up, sneak up 100 yards, hit the call, nothing, sneak up a couple 100 yards, hit the call. Bird hammers right on the end of the point, like maybe 100 yards right in front of us. We sit down, wait, nothing. Wait, nothing. Hit the call to check them, nothing. Wait a little while, hit the call, check them, nothing. Like, where did that bird go? Like, he was just right here. And that was like the whole thing. It was just like they gobble one time and let you know that they're there, and then they just like burrow underground or something. I don't know.
It was kind of crazy, and kind of feeding back on years past of being down there, that the birds would gobble a ton. Like, you would sit down, they would gobble, they'd start coming, this, that, and the other thing, and then like a light switch, the same thing. They burrowed underground. You're like, whoa, where'd they go? Like, you're sitting there with your thumb in your hand. You're like, they just disappeared. And so we decided to make an executive decision and take a 4-hour ride across the country of Maryland, to hunt somewhere else and meet up with some good friends, Sean and Jake, from Branded Outdoors. And it was virtually the same exact thing. I mean, 4 hours away, and the birds were literally doing the same exact thing, other than that the wind, right? Because we had to fight against the wind, and that was, who knows what happened that day. But the wind is one.
Yeah,
of the
it would have
worst
been windy in Western Maryland that day, too, right? But yeah, winds. I don't like wind. Wind's not fun to turkey hunt at all.
I rather hunt in the rain than the wind, and I hate the rain, but it was tough. And then, the last day that we were there, I mean, it was just the same thing. The birds gobbled in the tree. They hit the ground. We got one random. What that bird gobble 3 times, maybe.
The last one,
The last one that we chased around 3 times.
if that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like straight down that road we were on, maybe 200 yards away. Gobbled once, let us know he was there. We start sneaking down the road, get a little closer, try to get in that bubble, try to strike him again, and man, he just won't talk. Just wouldn't talk. I never seen nothing like it before, man. It was frustrating. Really frustrating, because it's like, I mean, at the very least, sometimes you can almost just draw a shot gobble out of them with a yelp, and it's like, how can you not? You can't even just accidentally gobble, like,
Right.
just accidentally gobble, just to let me know that you're close,
Or
but
just make me feel better. You don't even have to know that I'm close. Just make me feel a little better.
Yeah, I think those birds were a little trans myself, because I mean, we were sounding pretty sexy. I don't think we were their style.
And the thing is, like, we were in their bubble, you know what I'm saying? And just not, it's just crazy. It was mind blowing to me, and it's frustrating because you put so many miles on the boots. The tension's high, obviously, because you only have 3 days to make it happen, right? So you're like trying everything in your book, and you're throwing things at them that you never would throw at them, and it just never comes to fruition. And it's a frustrating thing. It's just it seems as across the board, everyone's kind of feeling the same thing. And I'm going to have a huge shout out to a man called Coy Halloway. We met this young gentleman from Alabama who's doing his 50 states. He works with the NWTF in Alabama. 49, yeah. 50. No.
Do you know which one doesn't have turkeys?
Which one's that?
You don't know?
No, what is it?
Alaska.
Oh, Alaska. They got plenty of turkeys. They're just white.
Alaska?
They're just white. No. Just
Yeah, super cool dude. Like, I mean, I knew he wasn't gonna, no one was going to beat us to the parking lot that morning. Like, there ain't no way that's happening. But he rolled up in on us. That was Easter Sunday, Easter morning.
Yeah.
And he rolled in and, like, no shame in his game. He said, you boys mind if I slide in here too? And I was like, I was a little grumpy, and I was like, where are you going? And he's like, I'm going here to the right. And I was like, all right, have at it, because we weren't planning on going that way. And had a good conversation with him over some tailgate coffee. And yeah, awesome dude.
And so he ended up texting me the next day after we had left. No, I'm sorry, Monday. And he was like, y'all in on the
next day.
Oh yeah, Monday. So he's like, are you guys all in at the chicken farm? I says, nah, we all the way back in Connecticut. And he said, yeah, I come in here this morning. They didn't make a single peep. It was 7:45 in the morning. He's like, they didn't make a single peep this morning. He says, I'm on my way back to Alabama. And now mind you, he's hunted there twice trying to kill his bird. He killed almost said Denver, but his Delaware bird while he was up there. But he'd been there twice trying to kill him.
Remember that? That's at 51st State.
That's a 51st State. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah.
The other thing I was thinking too, I mean, it is what it is, but it's kind of funny, is how tough the hunting was in Maryland in general. And it's also like our first hunt of the year. Right. So it's not even like you're trying to kind of shake the cobwebs off and kind of get back in the swing of that turkey hunting mindset in the mornings and all that stuff. It's like, we're not in mid-season form here. It's not like we've got 2 or 3 birds down and we're just going to make a little run over to Maryland and check that out real quick. It's like, you're not even in turkey hunting mode yet, and it's like you're just dropped in the middle of Maryland. Like, yeah, figure this out, boy.
It's like getting your shins kicked during soccer practice in the first 5 minutes of being there.
It'd be like your first deer hunt of the year be like November 7th.
And you fall out the tree.
You don't hunt September, don't hunt October. Like, first hunt of the season's like November 7th. Like, yeah, go figure that out. Like,
yeah, November 7th, heart of the rut. You're 25 feet up in the tree. You fall out of the tree. The prusik ties around your neck, and you hit every stick on the way down. I mean, that's how that felt. But you know what? It is what it
Lone
is.
Star ticks, though. That was cool.
You got to see a Lone Star tick. Is that what you just said?
I saw more Lone Star ticks than I saw turkeys.
I
thought they were rare. Like, I knew they had them, but I was like, I didn't know they were like every other tick was a Lone Star.
Especially very prevalent in that area there in Virginia. I had gotten bit by a Lone Star tick. It sat on me for quite some time. I was very scared that I was going to get it. No.
Oh, it got you.
Yeah.
I was wondering what was wrong with you. Now I know.
It's not the Lone Star tick, but
the Lone Star got you.
Well, turkey season's underway. There's some good things happening. I'm ready to go back to Rhode Island and kind of that's another state that's just been kicking my butt, but it is what it is. No fault but my own. So this morning was tough. I'll tell you, it was. I went into a piece of public and I probably did 6 miles and didn't hear a turkey gobble at daybreak. You know how you hear one off in the distance? I don't know if I just picked a bad spot. It was kind of just one of those last minute things. I pulled in a lot and somebody was sleeping in the parking lot and I wasn't the first guy in there, And it's funny is that you played in my head. You go, yeah, well, I'm not even going to talk about it because I don't want anybody else getting the idea.
Yeah, that's some you can't let all the secrets out.
Because that rings in my mind, so I know it'll ring in others.
Turkey hunters definitely got to hold some secrets.
Yeah, you're right. So I'll leave that one alone. But
I don't think I got beat. You weren't beating that guy no matter what you did, I don't think.
No, I think he was there at sunset last night. So
yeah, I don't think he left. He might be homeless.
Yeah, so I tried, but no, it didn't work out.
Turkey hunting hobo.
So I went to another piece and just walked and walked and walked. Finally, about 9:30, I had finally struck a bird.
How'd that feel, dude? After,
dude, I had a second take, Steve.
He likes me.
Do you know? It's funny is we talk about it. We you're running and gunning and you try and strike a bird and you're like you're not going to get a sound. So mind you, I've now done 6 or 7 miles and I called 50 times, never struck a bird right at daybreak. And I'm now, so my morale's low as it is because we've been in Maryland, got it kicked to us. Now I come back to the home states, starting to get kicked again. And then 9:30, I hit it.
Yeah.
And then like 3 minutes, like I'm just standing there and I'm trying to figure out my next move, and it just goes, ow! And I'm like, oh, these
Did I
things,
do that?
they still gobble? They still gobble?
Maryland got to the point where we would stop every couple 100 yards on those pine straw roads just to check, see if a bird would gobble, and it's like, I don't even expect to hear. Like we're gonna hit the call, but like we're not gonna hear
Not
one.
gonna hear
Like I
nothing.
don't expect it. It's pretty bad when you stop the call and you don't expect to hear a response.
It's pretty bad when Steve goes, dude, can you just call because this is getting out of hand. I don't even.
Yeah.
It's not even worth my
Start
time.
questioning everything. You're like, do I have the call in upside down, or am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Like, there's no way. One, when you cover that much ground, and you know there's birds. Like there's 100% a bird population there.
Right.
You're like, there's no way this call is falling on deaf ears. Like there is a turkey out there somewhere that is hearing this call, and nothing is gobbling. You're just like, you just question everything. You just question everything. Like this stuff, nothing is making sense. They wouldn't even gobble on a car horn.
Steve, this is very true. This is very true. Steve,
that was pretty funny.
Steve, it really was. Steve was so adamant that we had to change something. We even had to go to McDonald's for dinner one night because we knew that we've killed birds after eating McDonald's. So we had to go and eat McDonald's. We went out of our way to eat McDonald's.
Sometimes you got to switch it. You got to think. You're like, all right, what can we change? Oh, remember that time we stopped at McDonald's and then like 20 minutes later we killed that bird? We got to get McDonald's tonight.
We need to get
McDonald's. Change up the luck.
We don't have the choice.
It didn't. I don't think it mattered what we did on that trip. It wasn't going to change nothing.
No, it's tough. It just wears on your soul, man, because it's just tough. You get irritated, you get upset, but you got to keep the morale high so the turkeys will die. That's the way that you got to think about it, and just keep on chugging. You know, it'll turn around here in the next couple of weeks, man. Things will die.
So. I feel bad for the turkeys when it turns around because I'm mad at them now, and when I get mad at them, like I'm gonna take out some frustration.
And congratulations to Seth this morning, a team member of ours here at the Outdoor Drive. He shot a very nice Rhode Island Open Day turkey, so congratulations to him. Sorry, I took the killer's corner, but I almost forgot about it.
That's all right. And Mason Perkins laying them down, too.
Yeah, he did 2 in one day.
Tomorrow, I'm going to call Mason up and tell him to guide you.
Yeah. I should text him right now. Hey, meet me at the parking lot.
Yeah, tell him to take over and you just follow Mason around. He'll get you one.
Well, I think we should get this thing going. Let's get Pat Newcomb on. Let's go through the sponsors and get them on. Super cool, man. I'm excited to use my Newcomb blind. I'm going to take it out with me tomorrow. And make sure to use the promo code Outdoor Drive. If you guys don't forget it, if you guys are going to go and head on over to Newcomb Blinds, use the promo for 20% off Outdoor Drive. I'll start off with that. And with it being turkey season, Saddies, LLC.com for you guys that are looking for TSS. If you guys are thinking about getting TSS right now, you're already behind the 8 ball, so hopefully Aaron has some, but just give him a shout. Get on over to his website and get yourself some. Bowtech, we are title sponsored by Bowtech. Refuse to follow the new Virtue. Some really good bows for you guys thinking about it. This, it's 3D seasons right around the corner. You guys are looking for a new bow. Some of the really good stuff that they got going on over there. Go and check those guys out, bowtech.com. Latitude Outdoors. There was some new stuff from them recently. What did they just do? I got a notification.
I think it was that pack. I forget what it's called.
Well, that, and they had a huge sale on the Method 2 also. I'm not sure if that's still running, but there was a huge sale on that. So go and check those guys out, latitudeoutdoors.com, for all of your saddle hunting needs. Now's the time to start messing around with that here this summer. huntworthgear.com. Our opinion, the best camo on the market. The most versatile.
You're not very good at English.
No, I'm a little out of it, dude.
Stay away from the big word. If there's more than 2 syllables, just avoid it.
Well, all right.
Hey, what's the name of that new hoodie though that we were rocking this weekend? I'm a big fan of that.
Camden.
Yeah.
The Camden hoodie. It's super light.
I can't speak more highly about the Shelton hoodie with the built-in face mask and all that stuff, but dude, when it gets warm and it was hot and humid in Maryland.
Yeah.
Like it's almost too much. But that thin little hoodie, man, that thing was sweet.
So I'll tell you what I've been doing is I've been taking that Camden hoodie and I just shove it in my backpack. So later on in the day, then I just take off my Shelton and I put it in the Camden and just go to town running and gunning. And those new gloves, dude, the fingerless, the
Yep.
thumb trigger finger gloves, dude. Oh my, I forgot the name of them. I'm super bad with that, but get on over to huntworthgear.com. Working Class Bowhunter Podcast, WCB, the boys over there just paving the road for us. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive. Save yourself some on some of their lifestyle brands. Some really good stuff from them, and also the Kill Bottle whiskey. Can't forget about that. Always good to have a good bottle with you. And you can get it over there, Kill Bottle. I don't even drink it. I just leave it. It's on the shelf. I'm just collecting them.
Well,
like
you got to
Pokemon.
kill to drink it.
Well, no, I'm just going to collect them like Pokemon, I think. Just like
Oh,
everyone
there's
that they
so
come out with.
Age in it, I think.
Yeah, aging it. That's right.
Every couple of years.
That's right. Last but not least, Fourth Arrow Camera Arms. I cannot say enough about the monopod. I toted that thing around with me throughout the entire Maryland hunt. And I'll tell you what, there was not a time that I couldn't use it or didn't want to use it, but it's very light, versatile, can take it anywhere, so much better than a tripod when you're running and gunning. Just rip it up, go.
No, just running, no gunning.
No running, no gunning. But I probably staked that thing in the ground 350 times. It's super light, super compact. It just makes things so much better. So if you guys are looking to do some self-filming, definitely get the monopod. And hey, out of the Newcomb blind, I bet you they would pair up very well. Very well. So, well, let's get on Pat. And I'm super excited to dive into some of his hunting stories and talk about this blind. And like I said, make sure to use the promo code Outdoor Drive when you get on over to this website and save yourself 20%. Stevie, if you don't got nothing, we'll see you guys next week.
No, just check out how versatile the Newcomb blind is, because it's impressive, man.
Yeah, there it is. That's that word I was looking for. Thanks, Steve.
The Outdoor Drive Podcast.
All right, guys, we are back with Pat Newcomb from Newcomb Hunting, man. How are we doing, Pat?
I'm excellent. Hope you guys are tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate you jumping on. I know it's in the heart of turkey season and you're running around killing birds and whatnot, so we really appreciate it. Before we had gotten on, we were kind of talking about we might as well just have a little bit of gobbler report. And you were saying that you think that it's a little bit early this year, that you're seeing things a little bit behind.
Yeah, I think as far as Western North Carolina, which is my home, I was a week late into the season because of my travels early. I hunted youth with my daughter, and that was kind of one of those, the turkeys were really grouped up. So now we're 10 days or so into the season, and the birds, I feel like, are just now starting to want to play the game. It's been tough up until the last day or two, and we're starting to see a difference now.
That truly makes perfect sense, honestly. And we were talking off air before we got started, was when we had just come back from Maryland, and it was just like, that typical early season, you'll hear them gobbling in the tree, and then once they hit the ground, a couple gobbles, and then it's virtually for the rest of the day. You don't really hear nothing, and it's been tough. It's been super tough.
And that's typical when they've got the hens with them. They don't have any reason to gobble to us. And when they're chasing them around, you might get a gobble at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, which is that mid-morning gobble. But we hadn't had much of that in the youth season, and the last, I'm telling you, 36 to 48 hours around here, it's starting to really heat it up. We had gobbling all day yesterday, and I actually chased one bird yesterday from 7 and killed him at 7 in the afternoon. Called one bird in 5 times. I got a real cool story on how I killed.
Come on, take it right into it. Don't skip a beat, man. I want to hear about this.
All right, so for those of you that don't know, I'm fairly experienced in turkey hunting. I like to consider myself pretty good at it. So the night before, I had one of my best friends coming up to hunt with me. He does a lot of shows with me, Ryan, and his son, who's never killed a turkey. And my goal was to get him on a bird. So I went to one of my sweet spots that just produces every year, time and time again. And the evening before, when you roost a bird and you can set up 64 yards from him, I like to call that a grand slam usually. And the way this situation worked out is a big bowl, and I could only set up on one side or the other, so I had to choose. And I chose the side that I didn't have to walk underneath the bird with three of us. And we had a better spot to set up, putting a double up with a kid and everything. And the only thing I think in my planning that I didn't anticipate for was fog, because I didn't know it was going to be so foggy that morning. And I put a couple decoys up behind me, which I used because it was so open. I use decoys when it's open if I know that farm hasn't been worked with decoys before. And the bird flew down, and it was just so foggy, I don't think he could ever see us. I could barely get him in a camera at 70 yards. And to make a long story short about it, we chased that bird all morning, and we got him fired back up the second time we actually called him in, about 10 o'clock. And he came into 50, 60 yards and just never offered us a shot. And when he walked off, my buddy said, I have to leave here at 11. He lives an hour and a half from me, and he had to pick up his other kids from school. I said, all right. So about 10:45, we're taking a walk to the truck, and as soon as we go to put our foot across the fence, that bird gobbled again. And I said, okay, let's sit down. We set up real quick. This bird was maybe 100 yards from us, and he gobbled and gobbled and gobbled and gobbled and never moved. And Ryan's kind of checking his watch, and I finally looked at him. I said, how long do you have? He said 3 or 4 minutes. I said, and we're not doing any more of this, and we got to go. I don't want to educate this thing, So I whipped around, took him back to my house. I ate lunch as quick as I could, and I was back over there. And I got right back on that bird as soon as I got over there. And I chased him in a big, I'd say, horseshoe shape. I'd call him in, he'd work out. I'd move, I'd call him in, and he'd work out. And it just happened over and over until finally about 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30, I knew he was headed back to his roosting area. So I said, I'm going to go get over there. And I went back the long way so I could beat him there. And it's a wide open field, and I didn't know where he was going to cross it, but I knew the birds like to travel this one hillside. So I took one of my blinds and I turned it around behind me, and I put it and I tucked in it in the middle of a wide open field. And I said, we'll see if this works or not. And I had a hen come out, and then 30, 45 minutes later, sure enough, the gobbler appeared from the direction I knew he was coming from. And he's a mature bird, and it doesn't help that a week ago my daughter shot the bird that was with this one during youth season. So I knew he was kind of going to be a little trickier because it's only been about a week. So when I watched him walk by at 71 yards from me, and I didn't know what to do at this point because he kind of headed up the hill and he was going to go to his roosting area, and it was still a couple hours until that time. I decided to make a move and crawl all the way up to the top of the field in the direction that he went, assuming, like turkeys do, he'd go back in the woods with that hen for a little while and then come back out. And my assumptions were 100% correct. I got to the top of the hill. There was no turkey. I moved about 50 yards down, which was my mistake, towards his roost. Just in case I had to make a move, I could back off the back of that hill easy. And sure enough, he pops out 75 yards away from me again. And this is where the story kind of gets interesting, because he works out into the field following this hen at a 45-degree angle away from me. His roosting spot's to the left, so I'm assuming he's going to go down and work across the hillside back to where he'd roosted, at least I know of, the last 2 nights. And everything was going great. He's gobbling. I'm not calling. I'm not doing much. I've tried. He didn't care anything about it. He's following his hen around. But now he's walking 75, 100, 125 yards, and he's getting into this big bowl, but it's wide open field with one little patch of brush in the middle of it, maybe the size of 2 trucks. And I said, you know what? I've had enough of this bird beating me up today. I'm going to make something happen, or I'm going to bust him, because I knew I wasn't going back in there today because I was headed to hunt with my brother. And I started taking the blind and setting it out in front of me. I'd grab my tripod and my camera and move it, and then I'd butt scoot. And I did that, and I'd turn the camera on and I'd video, and then I'd do it. And the entire time I'm doing this, the bird is at full strut facing my direction. And I don't know if he thought it was just a big object coming. At this point, I didn't know. I do net later when I looked back at it. But so I do this for a solid hour. And as I'm doing it, he is coming at an angle closer to me, but he's going to be off this hillside where I can't see down. So I just keep going. And now I'm fighting daylight, not really daylight, but roosting time. And I'm knowing he's not going back to his normal roost. He's roosting in this other spot where they do a lot in the bottom. So I've got to kind of speed it up. So now I'm kind of at a quick one. And I'm not a little guy, and it's not exactly easy for anybody, I would think, to grab a blind, a camera with a foot lens on it, on a tripod, and put it out in front. Grab your shotgun and butt scoot 1.5 feet at a time. So I do this and do this and do this. And long story short, I get within the shooting range of him, and right as the hen's going in the woods, he's at full strut at the bottom of the hill, and he turns to the side and he offers his neck up in the air, and I let him have it. And he rolled back and flopped, and it was one of those long hunts that you literally lay down on your back and just wonder, how did that happen? Did that just really work? And that's one to add to the book for me to use in the future. Never been one of those that reap or anything like that, but that was cool. And I immediately called my buddy Ryan as soon as I got down to the bird to FaceTime with him. And I'm telling him the story before he even knows I got a bird. And I said, right here, you see the blind? And I'm standing 40 yards from it. It's on top of the ridge. So it's skylined, in other words. But our blinds have mesh on the top of them. And this is the reason for the mesh on the top of them. I'm sure we'll get into the discussion about that. But it's because it sees through. So if you look behind me, you see how it sees through to the wall? Mm-hmm. That makes it disappear. I've tried some full fabric and it just doesn't disappear the same. And he said, what are you talking about? And I zoom in on the blind and he can't see it. And I think the entire time the turkey just didn't see it. I thought maybe he saw movement, but he didn't see it. And it just worked out. So it was an interesting hunt. And I got my first Eastern for the year. And he ended up being a 11-inch double long beard, both beards 11 inches, 1.5 inch spurs. I mean, he was a tank.
Wow, that's so cool. And I think for you, it's even better because you make the blinds. So for it to work like that, like it all came together, and it's not like you were reaping with your own blind.
And I think that, I had used it in a sense to that before, but never on a bird strutting in a field that close. And to your point, I think that's what made me do it, was just knowing, hey, I got to test this out, whether I bump this bird or not. I've got cameras running. I can maybe show some people. I'll probably throw an Instagram reel together, hopefully tonight, and get something on for tomorrow to give a little sneak preview of it. But it was awesome, and it worked. So if it didn't work, I would have still been like, okay, that was fun to try. But I've done it with other animals. I've done it with caribou and muskox, and it worked there. So I figured, why not try it with this one?
Well, why don't we break right into it, man? Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do, Pat?
Target shooters who blaze through hundreds of rounds in a weekend, or a casual shooter plinking at the range, shop Midway USA. We have a variety of 22 long rifle and other rimfire ammunition for plinking, and 12-gauge shotgun ammunition for the next sporting clays, tournament, or round of trap. Midway USA has ammunition for modern sporting rifles, as well as an industry-leading selection of traditional and classic cartridges. Stock up on handgun ammunition like 9mm, 45 ACP, and 38 Special. For just about everything for shooting, shop MidwayUSA.com.
Nigel here. Did you know the wise time to relieve allergies is at night? With Zysol. And who better to explain than a wise owl like me? Your allergies won't take a hint when you're tired and ready for bed. Don't suffer the symptoms that bother your sleep. Take Zysol 24-hour instead. It starts working fast and works while you sleep, so you finally get much-needed rest. Then all the next day, it's still going strong, so you can feel your best. Be wise, all. Take Zysol at night. Use as directed. Starts working in 45 minutes.
At Midway USA, we put customers first. The Nitro Express shipping system is icing on the cake. It was a big investment of time and money to take super fast, low-cost shipping to a whole new level. The Nitro Express helps ensure same-day shipping and low shipping costs. We hope you enjoy the Nitro Express. We built it just for you. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com. I'm Larry Potterfield with Midway USA. Thanks for your business.
So I am Pat Newcomb, live in Asheville, North Carolina. Married, my wife Robin. A lot of people met her at some shows. We got 2 daughters, 12 and 14. My oldest is an avid hunter. She's been turkey hunting with me since she was 5, and she's probably killed more turkeys than most grown men. And she dreams, sleeps, and thinks about turkeys almost as much as I do. So great family life. Kids are into sports and, your typical stuff like that. But as far as myself and my background is, we moved to the mountains when I was young, and my dad was a Kirby guy, sold Kirby vacuum cleaners. So I grew up in sales and knew a lot about sales, but never followed down his path. And I actually ended up leaving college a year early because I had a professor kind of going over, you need to know what you need to do for a living. That's what we're doing this semester. And I literally walked up out of her classroom and went to my football coach and told him that I'm leaving school because I know what I want to do for a living. And it wasn't Nukem hunting. I had taken a job cutting trees to stay in shape for football. So I saw the potential in the Asheville area, and looking back, I'm glad I did it when I did, because that's probably what made my tree service thrive. So I opened a tree business when I was 22 years old in Western North Carolina, and to this day, it's the largest tree company in the Western North Carolina that's, not your government power line trimming companies. So that's what kind of got my life going in the work industry. And I've ran that for 18 years now. But about 5 years ago, I decided, not because it was a family problem or anything else, but I decided I was going to sober up, and I did it completely on my own without doing any classes. And I had so much free time on my hands, it turned me into alcohol a little more than I should have been. And it was one of those situations, it was like a light switch. If I turned it on, it was on. And if I didn't want to drink, I could go without it. But when I drank until the refrigerator was empty. And I gave it up. And the reason I went with that part was to let you know, is because of that is why we have Nukem hunting today. Because once I gave that up, I had this free time, and I had a mind like nobody else, is just wandering on what do I need to do with this extra time. And it is because my tree company was running so well that I didn't have to put 40 hours a week into it anymore. So I had that time where I could go in and get the guys going, and then I'd be there in the afternoon when they got off. But I had that 6 hours in between that I wasn't filling every single day. So I took that time and decided I was going to make something that I've wanted. And it was a quick, mobile, lightweight ground blind that you can adjust the height by the width. You can just run and gun style hunt with it. Because I'm in the mountains, and everything I bought would either set up at the wrong size, or you had to get a big hub blind, or the windows were too tall, or the screen was too short, and just nothing worked for me. So I was making myself a blind. I wasn't trying to make a company. And once I kind of started down the rabbit hole and made one, and people saw it and they wanted it, I was just running a couple blinds. I didn't have more than 3 or 4. And I wanted them so bad, my prototyping at the time cost me about $1,500 a piece. And it was worth every penny to me because I had what I wanted. And as that grew and people wanted it, I decided I'm going to do a search on this. And I did a full patent search. And I ended up with a full utility patent on my blind, which, means there's nothing like it on the market. So I made a trip down the mountain to True Timber, which is just about an hour from here in South Carolina, because I had reached out to Mossy Oak and Realtree, and I'm a nobody, and they didn't get back to me. Don't blame them. I give all the guys at Mossy Oak a hard time about it now. But I walked into True Timber and asked to speak to Rusty Sellers, which he's the president. And they asked me what time my appointment was, and I said, I don't have one. And they said, well, it doesn't work that way. But I grew up doing door-to-door Kirby sales, so that's how I worked. And that's how I've ran this entire company to today. When somebody calls Nukem Hunting, they don't get an office. They don't get anything else. They get the phone that's in my pocket, because that's just who I am. And I'm going to run this company the way I want to run it. And after getting to talk with Rusty for literally, they gave me 3 minutes, and a light bulb went off in his head. He liked it. He's offering me money for the patent and everything else. And I didn't want that part of it. I wanted the journey of what I'm doing now. So I worked with him, and we started the company in True Timber. And at my very first trade show, Mossy Oak is now coming to me. And that's how we grew into True Timber and Mossy Oak. And since, actually, as of maybe about a month ago, we have transitioned to solely Mossy Oak camo. And it's basically because I let the market speak and tell me what it wanted. And when we came out with these leafy blinds in Mossy Oak, it absolutely took off, and it crushed our sales on the other side of things. And the Obsession flat panel is still very popular because some people don't like the leafy blinds. So that's why we kept it, along with the habitat for waterfowl hunting. But I'll let you guys ask me some more questions in a minute, but that's just kind of what got me started in the Newcomb hunting, and the passion for it just came from my love of hunting, and especially the wild turkey.
So take us through how it actually started and how it came to fruition, like in your mind that you wanted something like this, and where did it start? Was there failures throughout making this? Because I know it doesn't come like instantaneously.
It doesn't, and just to give you a little backup, this was not. We started the company 4 years ago. It took me 4.5 years to get a patent. So this was before Primos came out with their little screens. It was before there was any 2 or 3 sided blinds. There was only your 4-sided structures, or the guys that had the tent poles with the fabric that unrolls, and you're sticking these tent poles in the ground and everything else. So yes, of course there was struggles because you're trying to create something that doesn't exist. And I knew it was based off the structure of I wanted a screen out in front of me. And that's what I tell people our blind is. For the ones that are listening, it's a triangle shape, but it's only 2 sides. So it's like if you were to take a teepee and cut it from the center of the top straight down the middle and then take half of it. That's what our blind looks like. And yeah, struggles are real, especially when you know nothing about fabric or anything else in that entire industry. I mean, I'm playing with bed sheets. I'm playing with anything around the house, blankets, whatever it may be, just to try to get the shape of it. I didn't know it was going to adjust and do all that kind of stuff. It just happened to fall in together because of the parts that I used to prototype on my own. And once I got, okay, this is the shape of it, it actually didn't have the windows or the top peak. And the reason you see blinds like that on the market today that don't have the top that mine has. And the reason I've added that, and people ask me, why do you have that? It's so awkward. You might have to shoot around it or whatever. And exactly to the point, yes, our blind is made to shoot off the sides or through the windows. So you are going to shoot around it, but you don't tuck in it. You push it out in front of you and use it like a screen. And the reason for the top of it's because when you sit in it, you guys can see this tree behind me through the blind. It's camo. It's camo all the way through it, but it's a mesh, and then it's solid on top again. That helps it blend. And the reason for the top point is bow hunting and your head. I don't care what blind you have. If it doesn't have a top on it, your head is sticking above it because you have to see. And when you go to draw, so is the top of your bow. So this point to me in my mind was have a point there. It will block some movement, whether you're turning your head, whether you're drawing a bow, whatever it may be, it blocks that movement. And it just naturally came to the fact where it made it naturally disappear. And I've actually prototyped some with that see-through camo that you're seeing on all these blinds just because it would be cool. And it makes my blind stick out. It's not the same because you don't see through it from the outside like you do this one. So yeah, there were struggles and they were real, but no worse than anything I've ever else done in my life. Right. Nowhere near as bad as starting a tree company. I can tell you that.
So what makes the Newcomb blind different, or what makes it so versatile to be able to use it in so many different scenarios?
So first off, there is stake loops on it if you want to or need to on a real windy day, but it is the only 2-panel stake-free blind with adjustable, I'm going to call them hinges, I guess, for simple terms, but adjustable corners and hinges, because the wider you take our blind, the lower the windows go. So a 5-year-old kid can sit behind the same blind a 6'5" man can. You can adjust the height of it based on the width of it. You can drop the center pole, roll it up. That's how I like to prefer my preferred way of carrying it in the woods is I don't break it all the way down. I drop the center pole, roll it up. I throw a bungee around it, and I carry it just like a walking stick or, just a little pole in my hand. That way I can set it up in literally a second or two or three, and you're hunting again. So for your mobile hunters, your coyote hunters, your deer hunters, your turkey hunters, whatever it may be, it's a blind that you can set up anywhere you want, hunt fence lines, hunt open fields, hunt whatever you want, thickets, and you can set it up in seconds. And that's how I originally developed it. But the poles on them are 72 inches long on the regular size. And the XLs are a foot taller. So they're long when you roll them up. So if you try to put it in the trunk of a car or on an e-bike or whatever else, it's not that convenient. You couldn't fly with it without paying extra. So I knew I had to make it break in half. And that's why I designed them now. They all come in a carry bag, like a little folding chair, weigh 3 pounds, 30, I think it's 32 inches or 34 inches long is the regular size when it's folded up. So they're compact, lightweight, as mobile as you could ever find a blind being, and just so easy to use, and they conceal a lot of movement. When you're sitting behind it, you don't see your lower level at all. But I also don't like the feeling of sitting in a full blind with a roof. So I'm still out there hunting, and that's what I swear has made my daughter a better hunter, because she grew up hunting with these. And you can still get busted. It's not full concealment, and I don't want it to be, but it's enough to help you out when you need it, whether it's deer hunting or whatever. And they just plain disappear in the woods, and that's what really makes them unique. Especially people look at me, and I also looked when I started the company as this is a turkey blind, and that was 100% my thought. And I used it coyote hunting, but I never thought about deer hunting with it. Being a tree guy, I was saddle hunting before these saddle hunters ever came out, and I was up a tree 35 feet. I believed in that, and I killed deer, and I was successful, so I didn't change. And we talked a little bit about, you have to market when you own something like this. So I started deer hunting with it. And I realized real quick that the deer didn't see it. They don't see it at all, especially the leafy ones. And I started killing bigger bucks. I started hunting areas I would never hunt before. I'm not trimming out shooting lanes from trees. I'm hunting thickets. Deer might not be here today, but I'm over there, or you can move or whatever. And just the universal of it that all came together has been what's so actually special about what this blind offers.
And I think you're kind of like just breaking up that silhouette, which is something that's super important when you're hunting. Like you said, you used it backwards and breaking up that silhouette, and how important that actually is, more than concealment. Just that breakup.
The breakup, and then also, how many times have you been in the woods and you've got the perfect setup, and the sun's coming up and everything else, and then next thing you know, you're out in the sun and you're just glowing. That's the worst thing you could have, right? So you use it as shade. You can literally adjust it to the sun and have that sun hit the top point of the blind, and now it's blocking you and you're staying in the shade, and it's concealing those movements. Or I've fluffed them up over my head, and I've used them as rain tars before, and I use them to block the wind. And there's a way to use it. Not every hunter is going to try it, and that's fine with me. But I've had a lot of guys tell me I will never use that turkey hunting, but I'll use it deer hunting. And you guys are big into podcasts, turkeyseason.com. I don't know if you guys know Paul Campbell, but listen to his last podcast or one of his last ones about his turkey hunt. He was one of my friends, and is one of my friends, I should say. And he said, Pat, I'll use this deer hunting, but I turkey hunt old school, and I don't use that kind of stuff. And he just said on his podcast, and he threw a nice spiel about Newcomb hunting in there, because he was hunting a bird down in Alabama and roosted it and realized there was nowhere to set up except for one single tree in a dead brown, red clay area. He said, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. And he went in there and used the blind, and I'll be surprised if Paul doesn't use it a lot more turkey hunting after the story he told about it.
It's
Once you get it.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny, and you see it, right? Like, you walk through the shows and whatever, and you see it, and you're like, man, that thing's super cool, but I'm not really sure how I would use it, right? And then you get one in your hand, and you're like, whoa, hold on, this is a whole totally different ball game.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is, I've done over 100 trade shows, and I hear people walk by that never stop and talk to me. That's a nice little blind. That'd be great for kids. I don't need that. This, that, the other. I don't need a toilet seat, but I use it. Okay? I don't need this blind to kill turkeys. I've killed plenty without it. I've killed plenty of deer without it. There's something about it once you start using it and you realize, just like yesterday, I have a bird at 45 yards and I am completely not careless about my movement underneath my nose because I know he can't see me. So how many times have you been sitting there with a shotgun on your knee? And I'm talking turkeys because it's turkey season. That's all I can think about right now.
Right.
But you're sitting with a shotgun on your knee without a blind, and that bird pops up at a 45 to your right. And you've got to swing on it and you bust the bird or whatever. If anybody ever hunts with me or watches me hunt now, I guarantee you my hands are on a camera, my gun's on the ground until that bird's at 20 yards. I don't care if I'm in a wide open field or the woods because I sell film a lot. I'm not worried about my movements. And if that bird's coming from my far right and I got the blind on my left and I hear him coming, it's stake free. So you pick it up, you slide it around, you shift around and you're set up again. And that's where I was going with this story is no, I don't need it, but it's handy. It's convenient. Once you use it, you will realize if you forget it, you might turn around and go back and get it because it is that useful in so many different ways. And I hear a lot, yeah, it's for kids. It is 100% great with kids. It is great with kids. But how many adults do you know right now that walk in the woods and put their phone off and don't look at it all morning? Or don't take a cup of coffee or don't take any food? Or I don't know, do you use calls? Do you move? Nobody sits perfectly still. And how many times have you been hunting and a bird just shows up out of nowhere or a deer just shows up out of nowhere? I had a buck last year show up at 18 yards straight in front of me. I never knew was there. Broadside, nothing between me and him. I've got a crossbow sitting a foot to my right. And I killed that buck. He didn't take another step from when I first saw him to I shot him. And we all move in the woods. And if you don't believe in it, don't use it. But if you believe in any kind of cover, give it a chance. At least get on Instagram or something and watch some videos on it and see how they work.
Well, it's kind of crazy, and what kind of brings it to my mind is I've guided with, I had a handicap gentleman that had been with us, and he's, running and gunning, right? Like I'm a very run and gunner turkey hunter, but I then realized, I didn't realize how bad it was that he couldn't walk and this, that, and the other thing, that he really needed to be in a blind and holding still because we would call a bird in and just couldn't hold very still. And I've never hunted out of a 4-sided blind, and not for turkeys anyways, not like this. And we literally set the thing in the middle of the field, and we had a bird literally brush up against it. And I'm like, but it's in the middle of the field. It doesn't make any sense, right? And then when I had seen the Newcomb, I'm like, hold on. You virtually have a 4-sided blind, but it's just in front of you. If you set up properly, you literally have a blind and you can do just about anything you want to do.
Well, and the reason for being able to take a blind like that and put it out in the middle of a field, and the reason turkeys see so well, a turkey can see you wave your hand at 400 yards, is because they don't see 3D, right? So that's why sitting here on a podcast, you see every movement that somebody makes because we're seeing a flat picture. So that's how a turkey's vision is. So that's why, anything you do, they see it just like that. But they don't notice when you put a blind out in the middle of a field overnight and it wasn't there the night before. So, and yes, to your point, it is like that just out in front of you. And then we, have a lot of people that sit side by side while you're hunting. So we would take 2 blinds, we'd put them side by side, and that's how I grew up hunting with my daughter. And when you put them side by side, you've got an open V in the middle of them. And for kids, any blind you put them in, I don't care who it is, or I shouldn't even say kids. People that don't have the hunting experience that, a lot of people don't have the experience in the field that we might because we do it a lot more. It's hard for somebody to pick up a gun and swing it left to right. It's hard for somebody to go in one window, out another window. I don't care what blind you've got. It's got dead spots in it. Our blind doesn't have dead spots. Yes, there's an inch or so on each side of the windows and one in the middle. So if you're in it with a shotgun, you got to pull left to right. Every once in a while, you have to back out and go out another window. but that's where I tell people you shove it out in front of you so you can swing behind it and you're not pulling it out of the windows. But where I was going with this was when my daughter was young and 5, 6, 7, whatever it may be, she couldn't even shoulder the gun or the crossbow she started shooting when she was 7. So we were on a shooting stick like a lot of people are. I don't care if you're an experienced hunter, deer hunting at long range, you're using a shooting stick, or if you're an amateur, you're probably on one now. But when you're in a shooting stick and you've got to move left to right and that window's 12 inches wide, your field of view for that shooting stick is very minimal. So with that open V in the middle, we were using that. So you've literally got the entire 200 degrees in front of you or whatever it may be where you could swing that gun or weapon. And that's how we've had a lot of success with it. But that's what made me create what is now our double up system. And I created a panel that goes in between those two blinds. So if you and I are hunting together and we're on a morning hunt and we want to take this double up system and we put 2 blinds together with the double up, it's 7 pounds for the entire system. It packs up in one bag. You can set up the entire thing in a minute and a half. Okay. Now we're hunting a field edge, so we needed that extra cover. Even though we're 2 adults that can hunt, now we've got front and both sides pretty much covered. Now this bird's gobbling off the ridge and we need to go. We need to run and gun this turkey. You drop that center panel, you roll it up, you throw it in your pack. Now we've each got our separate blinds that we can run and gun with. So our entire system that we've created is made for the mobile hunter that likes to run and gun, that gives you a quick setup, whether you want it little or you can get up to 11 feet wide with our XL double up. So we're making it. And then one thing I haven't touched on is we have 2 size blinds. I created the market to begin with just the regular size. And it's really designed, if you sit on the ground, to like your low profile 6-inch or so turkey chairs. For somebody like me that sits any higher than 6 inches behind a regular blind, the windows are just, they're too low. You're seeing over them. And I was okay with that because I'm a run and gun hunter. I was like, I'm going to sell a buttload of these and that's all we need. I never even thought about an XL until I started selling at the first, second, third shows. And everybody's like, hey, do you have a taller one? I sit in a chair. Hey, I sit in a sling seat or whatever it may be. And I was like, oh, there's those kind of people too. I forget about this. Just because I don't do it doesn't mean other people don't. So we came out with the XL, which is a foot taller, and it's great for your chair hunters. And it's great for somebody that wants to chair hunt in the fall, deer hunting, but a run and gun turkey hunt on the ground. So that XL blind, you can sit a foot taller. So you can sit, 16 inches off the ground in a chair or whatever it may be. But if you want to run and gun, you can take that same blind, spread it out and sit right on a cushion or right on the ground with the same blind. And then to your wheelchair point or the handicap, we've been selling a lot of our XL systems, the double ups, for people that are taking the elderly or taking the handicap out in the woods that really need that extra cover and you can sit a while. And I'll give you a little sneak peek on it. We're actually coming out with one here in the fall that's even a foot taller than that, and it's going to help a lot of these track chairs. And we're doing a small launch with it. We've only ordered a select number just to try it out. It only rolls up, 4 foot in a bag, and it's less than 4 pounds, so it's still lightweight. But we're going to be launching another model just because there's still a market for the people that want to sit even higher than you or I would sit in a chair.
So So you can sit in like a normal foldable chair behind the XL, just like you would, just a regular chair.
Yeah, like let's just say a camping chair, right? Right. Those are perfect. Now, some of the chairs, and I don't think you'd run and gun with this kind of chair anyhow, but when you think of your big tower deer stands and these chairs that they make that raise up and down and lean back and rock and all that, for me, those are a little high. I tell people, roughly your 16 or so inch chair is perfect behind the XL. But last week I was in one of those chairs. I was filming my dad on a bow hunt, and I sat in one of those chairs because I was trying to get up higher than him because I was wanting to shoot over him behind an XL blind. It still works. It's just not ideal for the way I hunt.
So and then a regular size, if you're running and gunning sitting on the ground, you would run a regular size. Or well, actually no, because the XL you can just spread it out and bring it down too.
So I'm glad you said it that way. because yes, I would run the regular size because I never sit higher than 6 inches off the ground. This is a situation where bigger is not better, in my opinion. And here's why. What you just said is when you sit on the ground, what? You just widen it out. Mm-hmm. And yes, you widen it out and you sit on the ground. So if you do both, it is ideal and it's perfect. If you just want one blind, the XL is the one for you. I think differently because the regular size is narrower when I'm sitting in that level on the ground. The XL, you have to spread it out a foot wider. So it's harder to tuck into brush. It's harder to tuck into tight places. And sometimes there's little trees and stuff in your way. I mean, we're in the woods. We're not out there with clippers clipping stuff. So the XL is a foot wider. But I didn't know my nephew was going with us this morning. I had 2 regular size blinds in the truck, and my brother shows up with my nephew to hunt with us. So I hunted all day today with a XL on the ground just fine. It works just fine. But if I had to pick one just to sit on the ground with, it'd be the regular size. If I had to pick one to sit high, it'd be the XL. High and low has to be the XL.
That's cool that it's versatile like that. You know what I'm saying? And then if you have a regular and you have a little bit taller of a chair, do you just put it out a little bit further and it will still kind of like cover you up, or?
You can, but when you do that, you know, your eyes are above the windows.
Right.
Which is fine because with these blinds, you're going to shoot around them as much as you're ever going to shoot through the windows anyway. So there's a lot of people doing it. I see pictures and people post up all the time, and I've seen people, oh, he's in a taller chair behind a regular blind. Yeah, you're just not going to be able to, if you're going to shoot through the windows, you'd have to kind of duck down a little bit to do so. It's just not ideal is what I'm trying to tell people.
Right, of course.
If I could choose, that would be my choices. And the good thing is we're in America. I'm a pretty cool company. You can choose one or both, so you can choose.
Right. The reason,
right?
Yeah, no, of course, I love it, and the reason I say that is just so people that are listening and they're thinking of, okay, how do I hunt, or what one should I go with, you know, so that they have the right taste in their mouth, you know, what they want to go with.
Yeah, and you know, if you've ever got any questions about it, I am trying to grow, and we haven't done it yet this year because I'm getting all the content, and I'm trying to grow that side into the YouTube channels. I'm going to be a lot more educational on there. But we have a lot of feed right now, especially Instagram's our main platform. A lot of it goes to Facebook and TikTok as well. But if you're going to actually communicate with me, it's better off on Instagram because it is the one I check the most. But we're pretty informational on there. And a lot of our videos are showing you the setups and how quick it works and all that kind of stuff. But if there's questions that you cannot find online, I'm going to tell people to call me. And I have conversations with people every single day to ask the same questions that you asked. And I'll sit back and I'll hear your hunting story. It's not about selling a blind to me. I mean, we'll talk about it and we'll get you the right blind.
And just wait until June, though. Just wait until June, until after turkey season's over, though.
I was on the phone with a guy from the NWTF yesterday while I was sitting in the middle of that field backwards in the blind with that hen at 30 yards. Just sitting there having a conversation because I ended up making a pretty big sale with the NWTF with these. It's going to be something cool we're doing this year too. But that being said, I'll answer the phone, and if I can't answer it, I won't. I'll call you back, but you won't have a problem getting a hold of me.
I mean, hey, that's dedication. If you're in the turkey woods and you're still trying to have a conversation with customers,
I can't tell my wife I'm working if I'm not. You know.
Good man. Good man.
1,100 blinds came out of that call. It wasn't too bad.
No, hey, it was worth it. It was worth it. And you killed the turkey.
And I killed a turkey. And the best part was my oldest is on her school trip, and she left yesterday for Washington, D.C. for 4 or 5 days. And my youngest had something going on last night. So my wife texted me about 3 o'clock, and she said, can we get dinner tonight? We don't have kids. And I just kind of did a real soft, no response for a little while because I knew this bird was coming, but I didn't know when. And so finally about 4:30, I said, this bird's at 80 yards. If it happens quick, maybe. And I sent her a picture of the turkey. And finally there about 6 o'clock when I realized I'm not going to make dinner, I said, babe, hopefully I'll at least come home with the bird, but we're not doing dinner tonight. And she's pretty understanding. She's been with me long enough to understand what spring is around the Newcomb household.
Is there like is there any words of wisdom as far as balance between hunting and home?
Well, there's two ways I'm gonna put this. If you're in a new relationship, do not start off wrong. Go hunting when you want to hunt. Go ahead and establish that is that important to you and is going to be part of your life. Don't try to sugarcoat it and go the other way around because it's hard to come back from. Yes, there is balance, but what my family at least understands is when dad's home, he's home. I now work from home when I'm not on the road doing hunts or trade shows. But for instance, like trade show season, it's January to end of March. I'm on the road. When you do trade shows, you're setting up the show the day before, so Thursdays, and you're working it all weekend. I drive through the night most of the time, Sunday nights, and rest up Monday. You're loading the trailer on Tuesday. You're getting your jobs done you need to do Wednesday, and you're on the road again. So for a solid 2 and 3 months, it is very, very busy, and that rolls right into hunting season. So yes, I'm on the road a lot and I hunt a lot during hunting season, but when I'm home, I'm home. And I mean that by now my kids understand. I don't know how many of y'all buy hunting stuff in June and July and early August, but there's not a lot going on in the hunting industry. So it's your planning, it's your getting stuff ready for the fall and orders for the spring and that kind of stuff. But I'm with the kids during the summer and I'm hanging out and we're going to the lake and we're having fun. And it's not just during the summer, I also work from home. So when it's not hunting season, I'm seeing them in the mornings before school and I'm here when they get off. And I'll take the extra 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon and do the work I need to do after they go to bed just to have that extra time with them. So I do a pretty good job with the balance of it. And I plan all my hunts as much as I can around the travel soccer schedule. So I'm home for as many games as I can. I miss a lot of games during trade show season, but that's because the shows are on the weekends. But for our life balance, it works out. My youngest, Adeline, probably has the hardest time with it because she doesn't hunt and she doesn't quite get the industry as much as my older one, Presley, because she's an avid hunter and she understands, turkey's gobbling, you got to be in the woods.
Hey, what's up, happy people? This is Robert Arrington from Deer Meat for Dinner. If you're into bow fishing like I am, you need to check out Cajun Bow Fishing. I've been using their gear for years, from the Sucker Punch Pro to the Winch Pro Reel. It's tough, it's reliable, and it works. Whether you're just getting started or you're ready to take the step to the next level, head over to CajunBowfishing.com and check out everything Cajun Bow Fishing has to offer. I trust their gear because it works. So if you're hitting the water soon, make sure you're rigged up with Cajun Bow Fishing. You will not regret it.
Midway USA brand product designers have one straightforward goal: develop high-quality, technically sound products and deliver them to customers at reasonable prices. If you are immersed in the shooting sports industry and pay close attention to every single detail, you know our products are built right and stand up to everyday use. Who has shooting mats and range bag systems to hunting clothing and just about everything for the outdoors? Log on and shop 24/7 with super fast shipping. MidwayUSA.com. Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at MidwayUSA.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com.
Create stories for life on a Scenic Eclipse Mediterranean voyage. With Scenic, it's more than a journey of a lifetime. It's ultra-luxury cruising along elegant European Rivieras and idyllic Italian coastlines. It's being immersed in the history and culture of glamorous cities, towns, and villages. It's colorful architecture, landscapes, and regional cuisine. Scenic Eclipse, in a class of its own. Book your all-inclusive voyage now and save.
Did you have something, Steve? I thought.
Yeah, I did. I mean,
okay.
we're backtrack a little bit back to like the use of the blind. Like, do you? And I'm sure this is a loaded question because it depends on the scenario. But do you find yourself when you set up, are you tucked right in there, like your feet are under the blind, or do you like kind of sit back a little bit to kind of keep your barrel kind of behind the window?
100%. I sit back. I am never tucked in the blind, so I'm 6'2", and at no point can I ever sit behind the blind and my feet are, touching the front of it.
Yeah.
You should be able to sit completely legged out. And the best thing you can do is when you get in the woods in the morning, I carry a nice little short shotgun. I always have. But even if you've got a long one, you can't always sit 6 feet away from the blind, right? But you want to, just like anything else, practice with it at home, use it a couple times, take it to the range even. But when you set up in the woods, every setup, when you throw that blind out, and you'll understand the length of it. For me, the length is simple to explain. If I take my arms and have that blind at full extension of my arms, and then I lean forward about 6 inches and set it down. And what that does for me is it makes it where you can pull up with a gun and pretty much scan left to right. You might have to pull back, an inch or two to scan. That's fine. As long as when you pull up, that gun is just outside those windows. You want to be able to have it outside the windows a little bit, or a crossbow or whatever it may be, so you're not shooting the fabric like in any blind. Had a story about that just 2 days ago.
I was gonna ask, how many stories have you gotten about somebody shooting a blind?
Archery 2, one of which probably 3, 4, 5 years ago, I was crossbow hunting. I'm sitting side by side with a buddy of mine. He's maybe sitting 6 inches ahead of me, so it's not like I'm shooting him, right? But the bird is kind of moving right to left, and I'm scanning, and I'm meaning to shoot through that big open V in the middle, and I stick my arrow. As soon as I shoot, I see the bird fly off, and his blind hits the ground. And it went straight through the side pole, and it broke it down. And he looked at me just straight as could be. He says, "What's the warranty on these things?" And I don't know why, but I had a roll of black tape in my bag. I popped it up. We black taped it, and we ran it to blind. But the other day, I told you I was sitting in a high chair because I wanted to film my dad. And why this happened the way it did, I have no idea. But I do have an idea. But right off the roost, we got birds. And one of them's kind of circled behind us. And I'm telling Dad, get ready. And my dad's 70. He's sitting behind one of my double ups, regular size double up. And I'm sitting in a chair behind him, behind the blind for filming. And when he thinks the bird's coming in, the hens come in, he drops to a knee, just perfect. Drops to a knee where he can maneuver and do his thing. And the bird doesn't give him a shot and walks off. Well, about an hour later, we got another one coming. Well, this one I can see coming off my left shoulder through the brush. And I'm literally giving my dad, he'll be here in about 10 steps, 5 steps, 10 yards, whatever it may be. And he's going to pop out 10 yards to our left. I mean, he's going to be right here when he comes out. Get ready. I'm not looking at Dad because I'm in the camera and I'm trying to be on a bird. And if you've ever filmed, you're in the camera. As soon as he shoots, I just hear whack, and I knew the sound. There's a picture, and nobody can see it, but he literally sticks his arrow in the side pole of the blind, and it's still waving there. And now the bird's at 8 yards, like, what has happened? And he kind of putts and runs off. So yeah, anytime you hunt behind a blind, you can hit it, right? Like whatever it may be. What happened with Dad was he didn't get ready on that setup like he did the first time. He decided, well, this is going to be easy. It's off my left side. I'm just going to shoot this thing from the chair. He's never practiced shooting from the chair. So that's what happened. But yeah, it can happen. I've never done it with a gun or even a crossbow, but I did it the one time myself, and I don't have a lot of stories of people telling me they've done that. I'm sure it happens.
It's always a one-off, right?
It's super common with archery hunting in any blind, really, because your sight picture's up here and your arrow's down here. So you see a clear shot, and not to mention you're blacked out because here's this buck or whatever, and all you're focusing on is that animal and getting a full draw, and there's nothing in the way, and you let it go, and you forget that arrow's 6 inches below your sight picture.
Well, oddly enough, we've never hit the fabric. I've probably killed at least 50 turkeys with a bow behind the blind and never hit either one until that one I hit the pole. And I was going to say, oddly enough, my dad and I both hit the side pole, not the fabric, just the pole. I mean, that blind, Dad leaves it on the hill at his house. He stakes it down and he leaves it there for turkey season. It's still standing. I mean, we took the air out of it. It's still standing. It could use a new pole in it, but talk about indestructible. People ask me how long they last, and these blinds will last you a long time. We give a full year warranty on everything when you buy it, parts, whatever it may be. If you have an issue with it, you call me and we're no questions asked. We're fixing it for you or sending you another one. And there's issues, just like manufacturing anything, you're going to have your issues. Don't call and cuss me if it happens. I'm sorry. We'll get through it and we'll get you another one. And most of them are great, but we've got double fabric in all the corners. They're nice rubber hoses that's inside there. Nothing is going to wear out on these things, except for you could pop a tent pole or something, and that's an easy fix if that happens to you. So just give it a chance and shoot straight. I mean,
yeah,
try not to hit it.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing that you kind of touched on earlier, like they're so small, broke down. Like you made a comment earlier, like you're going to like it so much that if you forget it at the house, you're going to want to go back and get it. It's so small. There's no reason for it that, like, it's not going to leave my truck. Like, it's literally going to live in my truck the whole season because it takes up like no room at all.
And exactly. And here's the thing is, whether it be deer season or turkey season, even if you go to a blind and you're going to sit in a full hub blind, it takes up so little room. Put it on your pack, put it in your pack, throw it over your shoulder. It's got a shoulder strap on it, whatever you want to do. Throw it in the floor of the blind, throw it outside while you're hunting. Because let's just talk deer hunting. And we know what happens in turkey hunting, but let's talk deer hunting. You're in your hub blind today. How many times have you sat in a deer stand or a deer spot, whatever it may be? You might be in your deer stand, and the deer are moving over there today. And you can see their legs coming in and out of the brush, and they're just over there today for whatever reason. Or you walk into your stand and the wind's wrong, right? Something is different. Grab the Newcomb, go set up. That's the beauty of it, is you can set it up same day and hunt. You don't have to take it out a month ahead of time and brush it in so the deer don't see it and all that kind of stuff. So to your point, yes, keep it in your car. If you go out of town, it folds up, it goes in your gun case, put it on the plane, carry it on the plane. They let you carry them on the plane. So there's no excuse not to have it. If you own it, I'd take it with me every time I go hunting, anything, whether I plan on using it or not.
And also,
I mean, you make a good point too. Like, mobile hunting is such a huge thing right now. Like, everybody knows you have to be mobile to stay on game. And blind hunters have never been known as being very mobile, right? They're usually set out way ahead of time, like just like a ladder stand. You put it up, it stays there, it lives there for the season. This is blending blind hunting and mobile hunting as one.
100%. And, when you touch on, they put it out there and leave it for the season, what's the reason for that? Is it the weight and all the stuff they got to carry out? You shake your head, yes, but it's not. They do it. 90% of people will tell you why they do it. Let the deer get used to it. Are you kidding me? How many times are you out there hunting and you've never seen this deer before anywhere on camera or anything else, or you're hunting game lands or whatever it may be? Let the deer get used to it. Or do you know your deer that well where you hunt? Because I don't. I mean, I'm sorry. I kill deer every year I've never seen before. So yeah, I mean, either way it is, there's a reason people leave them out there long enough, and that's not your mobile hunter, and it's not the people that want to be mobile. And where I'm going with that is, you don't have to be a mobile hunter to use the Newcomb either, because I want you to remember the term, they just plain disappear, because that's what they do. And that's the beauty of it, is you don't have to leave them in the woods, which then enhances how long they last. They'll last you tenfold as long, because you're not leaving them out there getting the weather.
They're only out there when you're out there with them. So what is it? They're not getting deteriorated. They're not getting beat up. They're not, it's just a tool. And it's a good tool to have. I mean, think about rut, right? And we were just talking about it. What happens when somebody goes and they're saddle hunting and they're going? Look how easy it moves. It's crazy. When they're saddle hunting and the deer are on, just outside, and they're running deer. A buck's running a doe 100 yards away. Just get down and grab the Newcomb and just run right over there. Like I could think of, as you're telling all these stories, I literally can think in my mind how many times that I would want it or I'm going to be using it.
Well, I want to tell you a couple other things that, fell to on accident. Somebody called me the other day and said, man, you should develop and put a shooting stick on top of it. And I was like, all right, let me tell you how to do that. You do the one pole breakdown, and I'm doing this live, so this is how long it takes. You do the one pole breakdown, and when you roll it up, okay, and you put a bungee around it. That's how I carry it in the woods. Naturally, on top, this fabric rolls up, you have a shooting stick right on top of it. Okay, so that's a natural thing. How many times are you walking through the woods and there's cobwebs in front of you? I'm holding my blind out in front of me. I'll never get a cobweb in my face. Now, turkey hunting. Back to that, right? I know there's somebody listening if you guys don't do it. Does anybody do the fly down cackle? And a lot of people will grab a hat and try to make it sound like a wing. Or they're carrying a wing.
Yeah.
And I've got these people that I meet at trade shows, and they're like, oh, man, that's just one more thing I got to carry. I'm already carrying my pack and my gun and my shooting stick and my wing. I was like, all right, start leaving your wing at home and carry a blind. And I'm like, well, how am I going to do my fly down cackle? Now, this doesn't work on the leafy blinds because they're a different material. But on my flat panel blinds, if you literally grab the blind, and I don't know how the audio is going to sound on this, but I grab the blind, there's nothing more realistic in the woods than that right there sound like a turkey flying down.
Do that one more time. It sounded so good I got excited.
And you just literally grab one side and shake it, and it sounds like a bird flying down. I mean, and it works. I've had birds pitch right down to me, or if I know I'm hearing other birds fly down, I'll grab that blind and do it. So I've had people come up to me now that we've been selling these for 4 years and tell me stories about these blinds and stuff that they're doing with them that I've never thought about. So you guys are going to me something with them too, and I don't know all the tricks. I just like turkey or deer hunting, I don't know everything about them. I'm not ever going to. So you learn something cool, post it up, hit me with it, and I want to know because these things offer you a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where, like you said before, like if you walk by one at the show, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Until you spend some time with it in your hand and mess with it and like make it wider and see how that drops the front and narrow it up and like play around with it, you start seeing like, oh, I can do this or this will work like this. And like, you know what I mean? You start figuring out the full potential.
You know, and you asked me challenges earlier, right? Has there been any challenges? And that right there, 100% is the biggest challenge we face as a company from day one till today. And it's educating a market about something that they don't know about, right? And this market is so big. Have you guys ever seen me at a show?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. You know, I'm not sure where I meet people, but you've seen the spiel I do, right? And I do that 150, 300 times a day, whatever it may be. And 100% what I'm doing is I grab the blind. And I haven't done a show in a month or so, but have you ever seen our blind before? And I got it in the bag. This is our blind, 3 pounds in the bag. You can adjust the height of the windows based on the width of the blind. I spread it out and show them it adjusts. You can do a one pole breakdown, roll it up, and you're on the go. And I do that part of it. The poles fold in half, so I drop to a knee. I fold it one side in half, show them it folds down. We offer it in 2 sizes, regular and XL, sitting on the ground to a low profile chair, you know, do the whole spiel, and then go through the different patterns, this and that. That is the problem, especially when you start going and selling it on Amazon, Optics Planet, whatever it may be, hanging it in stores, social media even. Social media, you can't sit there and have a 30-second conversation with people all the time. So that is the struggle, and that's why, you know, I leap at opportunities when people like you, you know, hey, you want to be on a podcast? Of course I do, for you and for me. Like, but that's the struggle, is it's educating a market about something that they don't know anything about, and teaching somebody that you don't have to have it, but it's a tool in your tool cabinet, and there's a tool for everything. And there will be a day where you might want to butt scoot across the field after a bird, and this offers you that opportunity. So they can outlaw reaping in some states. They have done it. I haven't heard anything about butt scooting across the field yet. I'm going to try that one again.
Nuke them.
Yeah, just nuke them.
You don't just hunt them, you nuke them.
That's right.
Pat, I got one last question for you, man. You probably already know what it is, but we want to know, Pat, what drives you outdoors?
You know, not to draw this into a spiritual thing or anything else, but that is probably the
please
biggest.
do. Please do. Go ahead. You're good with it.
that is probably, I shouldn't even say probably, that is my church on, every day that I can be out there. It doesn't matter if it's a Sunday morning. If it's a Sunday morning, I can go to church I'm going to, but you can have prayer. You can have your own time. You can have your time with God. You can sit there and I read the Bible app quite a bit on my phone in those slow times. And for whatever it is, the birds coming up and everything else, that just the outdoors brings more of that out of me. And I'm not the guy that runs around preaching the gospel to people, and that's not what I'm trying to do here. But to answer your question, that brings it to me. And then I like to consider myself a pretty good outdoorsman, and I like to share that with people. I like to take people hunting. I like to introduce first-time hunters. I've guided over, I guarantee it's over 500 turkeys. And I can't tell you how many deers I've had people first time with me. I love educating people in the outdoors and trying to grow our future in the woods. But at the same time, I have to have so many me days just to myself as well, but the outdoors to me is just peaceful. It's relaxing, and it gets my mind in a whole nother place. I'm not going to say I can turn work off because I own 3 companies and that never turns off, but it gets me away from the everyday life of the phone calls, the Zoom meetings, the running to the shop and having to deal with the guys, all that kind of stuff. So the outdoors to me is just my peaceful, happy place that I can enjoy with people, and I can have even more fun sometimes by myself. So as a whole, it's just, I love every bit of it. There's some of my best hunts. I've never heard a gobble, or I've never seen a deer. And it's people that don't hunt will never understand that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's the truth behind it. And, as a respect, the turkey, especially, you've heard it if you turkey hunt. Well, you don't kill a bird, just come to my house, hunt in my backyard. We've all heard that. And people shoot deer off their porches, whatever it may be. That animal is not the same animal when you step 150 foot outside your house and you try to call it to you, or you go out there and you smell wrong for deer season, right? And the respect I have, especially for the wild turkey and their fight to survive. An average gobbler lives 2 years, okay? A hen, when she decides to breed, has a 50% chance of living. And then the turkeys, how many of them even make it 2 weeks? Mm-hmm. But the respect I have for game in general is also one of the things I think that really drive me to the outdoors, whether it be, some random caribou hunt I went on in Greenland, or a turkey hunt 5 miles from my house. Seeing nature every day, whether it's a little cardinal or whatever it may be, it's a magical thing to me, just knowing what those creatures do to survive. And we didn't touch on this at all, and it's completely a whole nother topic we could talk about for hours, but we just dealt with Hurricane Helene here in Asheville. And this area it was devastated. And I dealt very closely with a lot of people because I was on the first faces they saw, because I was in the tree business, and all these other tree companies weren't even running, and our power companies weren't even out, and we didn't see anybody for a week. And the reason I'm tying that in is because I had all these raw feelings and emotions coming from people that I'm telling, it doesn't matter if you get out of your neighborhood or your house, you can't get out of Asheville. All the roads are closed and flooded or falling in or whatever it may be. Like, you're not going anywhere. So now I'm like up close and personal with these people, and they're crying on my shoulder or laughing with others. Like, it was a really emotional couple weeks, but still is, I should say. But the reason I'm relating that to that is you can drive around here today and see complete hillsides of nothing but trees falling in every direction and all same direction. I couldn't help but wonder. I didn't get out a lot this year deer hunting because we were working the storm. I only hunted a handful of days around here, but I couldn't help but wonder, like, did the turkeys survive? Did the deer, like, how many of them died? Like, we have acres upon acres of trees that have fallen, and I live on a hill and my driveway flooded out. Okay. just there's devastation everywhere. And God's the only thing that answers that, because my turkey population is still fine. These birds are gobbling, deer running around. I mean, it's how in the world do these animals survive? And if you don't respect those little red-headed creatures, the deer you hunt, you better start, because go outside in a storm by yourself and, I don't know, sit in your underwear and see how you feel for an afternoon, let alone all the time and what these creatures go through to live. And, you know, us just to have the chance to get out and hunt them and chase them after they fight like that to live, I mean, it's a pretty amazing thing. And that's my story. I mean, that's what I love about the outdoors.
I love it. I think it ties in. There's been a lot of really good what drives you outdoors, and I think that is a full picture, Pat, and we do appreciate it, honestly. Can you just tell everybody where they can find you, where they can check you out, where they can go and get a blind, so on and so forth?
Yeah, so we are at Newcomb Hunting on all social platforms. Instagram, like I said, is our main one. I'm also Pat Newcomb at Newcomb Hunting is my personal page on Instagram. But you know, I'm the one that mainly drives the Newcomb page as well. So you can reach me directly on either platform, on either one on Instagram. But at Newcomb Hunting, and that's Nukem. It's not spelled like my last name; it's spelled differently.
I like that play though.
Yeah, it's a good play.
Thank you.
I do like that.
And other than that, you know, you can buy our blinds direct from us. Is at newcombhunting.com. But then we're also, you know, I like to check and see if your local stores have them. We haven't got the dealer portal up online yet. We're redoing websites currently, and we hope to have all that up in the fall. But if your local dealer's got one, you know, go check them out. We're in a lot of small town shops. We're not in a lot of big stores yet. We're working on that. But Optics Planet, Amazon, Walmart.com, all that kind of stuff, you can find our products. But if you have trouble finding them, look up Newcomb Hunting and get a hold of me, and I'll make sure you get one to the house. And you know, it's funny, this time of year, I get a lot of guys calling me, hey, can you have that thing here in 2 days? Hey, I'm going to Missouri. Can you ship it there? And we're going to get it to you if we can. You might have to pay a little more for shipping, but we'll get that thing to you.
Absolutely. Pat, we really appreciate you jumping on, man. We're looking forward to nuking them this season. Go ahead.
One more thing. We did Outdoor Drive. That is a coupon code on our website only, so on newcombhunting.com. That will give 20% off to anybody listening that wants to use that code. Just at checkout, use Outdoor Drive.
Awesome.
Sweet.
We appreciate it.
Sorry to interrupt you there. I forgot to throw that in.
No, please, no. That's an important thing to interrupt on. Yeah. So everybody go get on over to Newcomb Hunting. Use the promo code Outdoor Drive. Save yourself some. But once again, Pat, we really appreciate you jumping on. We appreciate what you're doing. And we're looking forward to nuking them this season. And for everybody else, thanks for taking the ride right here on